Hello, friends. Welcome to Unique Coding Heroes. In the previous videos, we have discussed about many questions which are related to Java coding, as well as verbal questions which are mostly asked. In the point of view of interview, uh, few questions are very important. If interviewer get into that part like design pattern, then these questions are mostly asked. Like if they told singleton pattern, like if your interviewer ask you singleton pattern, how to create singleton pattern and how it is created. These questions are usually asked question. So what I will suggest you, you must have an idea. So I will make you understand in very easy way today. Okay, so we are there are six questions which we are going to discuss in design patterns in depth. Okay, so let's get started. So, what is design pattern? So, if the interviewer asks you, so see, design pattern have many categories. Okay, so like singleton pattern, factory pattern. Okay, so what you have to tell that based on like analysis and problem analysis, the singleton patterns varies, and it's kind of like a creational pattern, structural pattern, behavioral pattern, and J2E pattern. So it's kind of like factory. So you can say first of all, singleton pattern, factory pattern, adapter pattern, this pattern. So J2E pattern. In J2E pattern, like transfer object pattern. Okay, like object like data access object pattern, front controller pattern. So these are pattern basically. So yeah, these are asked question like what is creational pattern. Okay, what is creational pattern? You can say factory pattern and singleton pattern. The structural pattern means like adapter, then like proxy, like bridge filter. These are like structural pattern. Then behavioral patterns, in the sense behavioral pattern will be like which is having some behavior like iterator pattern, like a strategy pattern. Okay, so yeah, so these are kind of pattern which are basically in Java. So you can tell based on the problem analysis, design pattern have multiple categories. But yeah, the factory pattern, adapter pattern, these are like patterns. Okay, so let's move on to today. We will be going to discuss singleton pattern in depth. Okay, so that is in the interview point of view are mostly asked question. So stay tuned. Also, we have a job referral today as well. Like today, we like every session we provide a kind of like a interview like a job referral from MNC company. So there you can apply. At the time of recording of this video is 22 June. So you can apply within like 15 days, 10 days. So stay tuned. I will let you know soon at the end of this video. Thank you. So today we will be understanding the singleton pattern, how it works, and how we create a singleton pattern in Java. So first of all, the singleton pattern is basically where we have only one instance. So basically, what we are doing, we are restricting the initiation of a class into single object. So we are restricting the initiation of a class to a single object. That means we are not allowing to create a multiple instance of that class. So how we can achieve that? First of all, you have to make we have to make private constructor. Okay, we have to prevent the direct initiation of class from outside. We have to create a static method to get instance. This method will responsible for creating instance. If it doesn't exist, it will run existing instance. If it isn't it if it has already created, then we can declare a static variable to hold the instance, and this variable will store the single instance of a class. So here basically we are giving one example. Okay, so In this example, you can see we have created a public class singleton. Then we define a private instance. So, what we did, we are calling the in this example we are calling the singleton get instance. You can say singleton get instance static method to get instance static method get instance. We are calling get instance by calling singleton instance. We're calling singleton instance by calling singleton dot get instance. The first time the method is called, it will create a new instance of the singleton class. So first time the method is called, it will create a new instance of singleton class. It will return as existing instance. So existing instance it will return. It is not. It's so basically it's the basic implementation is not thread shape. So yeah, so that is why in multi-threaded environment, multiple threads could potentially create separate instance of singleton. To ensure the thread safety, we have to create a technique which is used such as a synchronized block or double checked locking pattern. Okay, so there we can use enum. Basically enums what will it will guarantee that the only one instance of a enum constant is created. So yeah, so in multi-threaded environment we have to be we can use like enum constants. Okay, and in um, so in singleton pattern we can create like this. We can create a constructor. We can create a private constructor. Okay, then we private constructor. Then we instance variable which we defined. It should be private static singleton instance. Then we're getting the instance using static method, public static singleton get instance, and then we are checking if instance is null, then it will create a new object. Otherwise, it will return the instance. So if you use enum in there, enum basically in the instance in the single inheritance class, you can access it by calling singleton. The approach is this approach is thread safe by default, and it provides a concise and reliable way to implement singleton in Java. So yeah, that is the way you can follow. Hello, friends. So, moving on to next question, let's discuss like how the singleton pattern works and the ways to create a singleton pattern. Basically, so there are two ways to create a singleton pattern: early instantiation and a lazy instantiation. So, early instantiation is a responsible creation of instance at the load time. So early instantiation means you're creating a kind of object at the creation at the load time, whereas lazy instantiation is responsible for creation of instance when required. These are mostly asked questions. Sometimes interviewer will ask you what is lazy instantiation. So yeah, you will come across. So we will discuss these 2 points in a broader sense. So first we will discuss lazy instantiation. What is the benefit? How to how to create lazy instantiation. Then we move on to early instantiation. What is the difference between lazy instantiation and early instantiation? So once anybody asks lazy, what is lazy instantiation, you can say the creation of object when it is required. So you're creating the object when it is required. So let's understand with the problem like lazy instantiation, how the lazy instantiation basically it's a part of design pattern and how to work with that. So basically it's used to defer the creation of an object and the execution of a costly operation until it is needed. So the this approach is used when we are having some we want to optimize the resource usage and improve the performance by avoiding unnecessary initialization or computation. So in that scenario, initiation is commonly implemented, and it can improve the performance by avoiding unnecessary initialization uh, of yeah. So Let's move on and discuss the. So here in this program, you can see we have created a public class called lazy initialization example. Okay, then we define the expensive. We define this define this variable in there in inside private, which is expensive object. Okay, you can see expert expensive object. Then we have again we are using that expensive object using get object, and then we are checking if expensive object is null, then we are only creating. So that is the case. We are here, we are not initiating, not creating any object, which is saving our use of the function code also. It's like it should not, it should check first. If it is not there, then only it will create. So so it will. So you have seen the example of lazy initialization example basically, which I shown. So what it happened where basically we have created a class called lazy initialization example that contains a reference to access expensive object. Then there is a get expensive method to responsible for lazy initialization and returning the expensive object if it has been created. Otherwise, it will return existing instance. So by using lazy initialization, we avoid upfront cost of creating expensive object when the object might not be required at all during the execution of the program. So this allows use us to defer the object creation until the possibility exists. So here in the lazy initialization, there is one more important concept came. It's a volatile keyword. So let's understand. So what exactly happened in the lazy initialization? Lazy initialization introduced a potential thread safety issues in a multi-threaded environment. So if multiple threads simultaneously access the get expensive object, when expensive object is null, they might attempt to create multiple instances of the expensive object. To ensure thread safety, synchronization mechanism like synchronous block of the volatile keyword can be used to protect the lazy initialization code. So let's see how we can achieve it. So what we do, uh, you can see here we have a kind of like it's example of lazy initialization you can see here, and it's a volatile keyword we can use. So if you use volatile keyword here, it will not allow them to modified by the multiple threads. So we have defined private volatile here. Okay, so in the case of multi-threading, it will not affect, it will not allow to create a multiple object. So volatile keyword ensures that a change made to expensive property by one thread are visible to other thread. Additionally, the synchronized block ensures that only one thread can be executed at the initialization, preventing the multiple instances of being created. So lazy initialization is thus useful to optimize the resource utilization, improve the performance by differing creation of object or execution of costly operations. So early initialization is just opposite of lazy initialization. So in early initialization, you can see here what we are doing. We will create a private whenever the place where we are creating the object, there itself we will define it private. So so what it refers, it's create an object using new keyword, where an object is initiated at the time of declaration initialization. So there only we have defined this as a private. So so you can see here, so in the above example, expensive object is created and assigned to a extensive object field. So you can see, right? So it's when we define this private at a time, so like expensive object is equal to new object. Okay, so there only we defined as a private. So what we did, we created the object and we assigned the expensive object field at the time of initialization. So this is called early initialization. And again, in the next step we are calling that expensive object using get uh, get method. You can see, right? Public method, public expensive object, get expensive object. editor extensive object. So like this early initialization works. There is one more concept. It's called decorator pattern in Java. So decorator pattern is popular uh, Java like design pattern because it's heavily used in IO package input output packages. So decorator pattern uses composition in place of inheritance to extend the functionality of an object and the runtime. So like buffer reader and buffer writers are the example of decorator pattern in Java. Buffer reader you have like in the coming sessions we will discuss buffer reader and buffer writer, some some kind of like uh, implementation, coding implementation. So let's move on to our this end of this lecture, end of this session. So when where we discuss a kind of like openings. So in the Infosys Limited there is an opening. So you have to send to this email address, and openings I mean here in there. Here you can see these are the openings. So you need to mail in there. Okay, so don't forget like and press the bell icon. Don't forget to like, subscribe so that I can bring good videos for you in the coming session, which will help you to crack the interviews very easily. So just practice what you need. You need to you need to watch. You need to practice the things, and you have to keep the concepts in your mind so that you can explain the with logic so that interviewer can understand. Yeah, you are the fit for the position. Okay, sure. Thank you very much.